Okay, so in the previous video we have created this navbar, and now in this video we are going to implement routing and make these links functional. So if you click on home, the contents of home page should be displayed. If you click on facts, the contents of facts page should be displayed, and if you click on about, the contents of about page should be displayed. Okay, so we are going to create a folder called pages or views. Views is basically like the folder for pages, so like so. Inside that we're gonna have 3 components, one component for each page. So we're gonna say home.view. We are going to have an about page, so we're going to say new file about.view for about page. So a page is just like component, so new file, and finally we have fact.view, so facts.view for the facts page. And for now let's just use the paragraph text, simple paragraph text. So we're going to say template, inside that a paragraph text that says home page. Copy this. In the about page, this will simply say about page for now, and then the facts page will say facts page, like so. But still this won't work. That is because we have to implement routing. So now we have to create a folder called router. Inside that we are going to have a file called index.js. Here we have to set up our router. So first thing we need to do is import Vue from Vue. So we're going to say import Vue from the library Vue. So we're going to say Vue from Vue, and then we have to import router from Vue router. We're going to say import Vue router from Vue router. So Vue router is a library for routing, and we're importing Vue. Now we have to tell Vue to use this router. So we're going to say Vue.use. So we are telling Vue to use this library for routing, like so. Now we have to create a new router object. So we're going to say const router equals to new Vue router. So this takes some options here. So first, let me fix this. So first we have to say the history mode to be history, and then we have to say base URL. So base will be process.env.base URL. So basically the base path or the beginning of our domain name, so which will be this part. So we can say process.env.base URL. This is give us this part of our URL, and then we have to have an object called routes. So we can say routes equal to we are going to create a variable called routes. So let's create that. So we're going to say const routes equals to, it will be an array of objects. So here is an object. So first thing we have to say is path. So when the path is /, so when the path is just /, then we want to show the home page. So we're going to say name. We can name our route. So we're going to name it home. Then we are going to say what component we have to show. So we're going to say component equal be home component. So home. So in the views folder we have this home component, we have to use that, but for that we have to import it first. So we're going to say import, I'm going to say import home from. Now we're inside this routes folder, so we're going to go one folder up. So go one folder up by saying .. then inside views app.view. So instead of saying .. we can use the @ the @ will point to source. We're saying source/views/home.view, like so. So now if we save this, nothing happens. That is because in the main.js we are going to have to use the router. So first we have to import the router. To do that, first we have to say export default router. So we can say export default router. So we'll be able to import it in our main.js. So we're going to say import router from /router. And now inside the view we are going to have to say router equals to router. So router equals to router, or using ES6 we can say just router, like so. And same here, instead of saying routes equals to routes, we can just say routes, and this should work. If we save this, as you can see, this is still not working. So why is that? We have did everything right? We still have one piece of puzzle missing. That is, we want to show the contents of route. If we want to show the contents of route, we have to use the router view element. So we're going to say router dash view. So here, like so. So this router view will be replaced with that page that we specify. So if the route is / or nothing, will show the home page, contents of home page. So as you can see, this says home page like so. So let's do that for other pages as well. So in the index.js, let's first import our other pages. So we're gonna import about page, and we are going to create another object for that. So when the path is /about, we're gonna say the name can be about. By the way, the name property is optional, so if you just remove this will still work. And the component should be about, like so. And finally we have the facts page. So when the path is /facts, we're gonna say the name can be facts and the component will be facts. And now if we navigate using these links, now we should see different pages. But we said our a tag to have a href of hashtag. So let's change that. So let's go to our navbar.view. So if we want, you can say this should be /, this should be /facts, and then we can say /about, like so. So now if you click on them, you'll see it says facts page, about page, but you'll see that this URL here is reloading. But we don't want it to reload, we want it to be a single page application. So if we can't use the a tag, because if you use a tag, the URL will reload. So we are going to comment this out. So instead of using a tags, we are going to use the router link tag. So we are going to say router link. The router link will be later replaced with a tag. So this is same as saying a, but if you use router link, the page won't reload. So instead of href, we simply have to say to and then home. So let's do that for all our pages or links. So we're going to say facts, and we're going to have to say about, like so. So now we can delete this, we don't need them. The path should be different, so we're going to say facts, and this should be about, like so. Now if you click on these links, as you can see, the page changes and the URL here is not reloading. So this is a single page application. So now let's use the class container. So they will have padding as well. So let's go to our app component.view. So here is our app, and here we can basically wrap our router view with a div that has a class of container. So cut this, so dot container. Inside that we can have our router link, like so. So let's also give it a class of main, which will be our main container for contents. So in the CSS we can target our main, so we can say dot main. This should have a margin top bottom of 1.5 em, so 1.5 en, and left right can be 0, like so. So this is our home page. We can have a facts page, about page. Okay, now in the about page, let's have some different contents. So let's use a div. So that we're gonna have a h1 that will say about us page. Then we can have a paragraph that will have some random text. So this is our about page. Now in the facts page, what I want to do is, so in the facts page we are going to use the h2 text. So we're going to say h2, like so. So here we're going to say hello, and we're going to say page and the number of the page. For now, let's just say 2 is a even page, like so. Now instead what I want is the user should be able to go to fact/434, and this should say hello, page 34 is even. Or if we say page 33, this should say page 33 is even. But then we have a route for facts/33, 34, 1, 2, 3, etc. We have only a route for facts. So in our main.js, we can say after the facts we can have some more numbers or anything else. So this can be a / and then we're going to say colon. id. So when we say colon id, this part can be whatever we want. So / 33, 34, 1, 2, 3, whatever we want. So now if we save this, as you can see, the page 2 is event page. If we say 35 and click enter, this still says page 33 is enter. So instead of saying 2, we want to say 335 is a even or odd page. So how we can do that? So let's go to our about page. So let's talk about expression. What is the expression? Let's have a paragraph text. So in Vue.js we can have this set of curly braces, and inside them we can have some JavaScript. So we can say something like 5 plus 5. If we do that, you'll see, okay, if we go to the about page, as you can see, it says 10. If we say 55, this says 60. So basically we can have some JavaScript here using this curly brace, and this is called expression. Now in the script section we can say data equals to, and this have to be a function. So there are many ways you can say it is a function. So the function have to return an object. So one way to do that would be like saying data colon function and then return an object, or we can simply say data like so, and this will also work. But what I like to use is the arrow functions, where we're going to say data equals to a function, and we're going to return an object. So here we can do this and say return object like so. Or if a arrow function just returns one object, you can just simply return that without using curly brace. But now we are in fact using curly brace, so this will be treated as a function body, so we can have this. So this is invalid. So to make it valid, we can wrap it inside a parenthesis like so, and now this arrow function is returning an object. So the benefit of using the data function is now we have this message here, so we can simply say message like so, and it will be executed or compiled like so, like this. So this is how we can use the data function. So we want to use it in our facts page, so let's delete it from here like so. So go to our facts page and create a route, create a folder, create a script section. We're gonna say data equals to an arrow function that will return an object. Again we can say message equals to hello like so. We're going to say double set of curly brace, inside that say message. As you can see in the facts page, it should be facts / something. That is because we said the URL have to be facts. The URL have to be facts / and then a number. So let's update our number. So here instead of going to facts, it will go to, let's say, facts / 20 like so. So now it says hello and hello, because in our facts page we're basically interpolating or using the expression with message, and message is hello like so. Now also one thing you can do is, so inside this curly brace, if you want, you can use $route. $route will basically give us the information about our route. So we can say route.params. So we can say params, this will give us the parameters. So if we now save this, as you can see, we have a parameter called id and the value is 20. That is because in our routes we have set the parameter, one parameter, that is id, and here the id is set to 20. So now we will be able to say params.id, and this will be 20. So now instead of saying Ctrl X, let me cut this page 2. We can say Ctrl V here. So now whatever page we are on, this will say page 30. So if we go to page 220, this says page 220 like so. Whatever page we are on, this will say that page name, page number like so. And we know a URL can also have a query string, like we can say question mark and name equals to John like so. So now we can use something similar, so like so. Let's copy this and paste it here. So now instead of route.params, we have to say route.query, because we are using query string. So we can say query query. So if you do this, as you can see, we have one query called name and the value is John. So if we say hello query.name, this will say hello John. So whatever name it is, it will say that. So I can say Johnny, and now it says Johnny, and page number, and finally it says the page number is even. But if we do let's say 221, the page number should be odd because 221 is an odd number. So how we can do that? So if we use data property here, we can use, okay, let me just show you again. Okay, so if you use data here, the property can be used inside the expression. So we can say message, and the message will be interpolated like so. It says hello. Another thing property you can use is called computed. So computed like so. Now computed have to be an object. Inside that we can have many functions. So we can have a function called, let's say, hello, and our function have to return something. So if we return, say return, let me say, okay, let me just say this. So this dot message. So if we say this will give us the properties here. So if we say this dot message, this will give us this message, and we're saying plus world. So this should be hello world. So now we are going to be able to use computed property just like that data. So you can say, instead of message, we can say hello, and it says hello world, as you can see. So the difference between computed property and data is, in computed property we have to have a function that returns something, and whatever you return here in the expression, that will be interpolated to that. So now we can again get the route number and route ID by saying, so since you are inside this function, this object function, since you are inside this object, you have to say this dot dollar route. So we can say this dot dollar route dot params dot id. So if we save this gives us the page number. So like so. So what we want to say is, if the id %2 equals to 0, then it's an even number, otherwise it's an odd number, like so. So if we save this, instead of saying hello, we're going to name it is even, like so. Let me delete this, we don't need it. So instead of saying even, we are going to say is even, like so. And let's see what is wrong here. Okay, we have to say, I don't know how that disappeared, but we have to say if this %2 equals to 0, then, so we are going to have to say if params.id %2 equals to 0, then return even, otherwise return odd, like so. So now it says odd. But if we go to a even page, like like 220, this is the page is even, like so. So this is how we can get the parameters and query strings from our route. This will be helpful if you want to use the API, if you want to use this query string and parameters when calling an API or something, like so. So okay, so now what I want to do is make this uppercase letters, so uppercase word. So you can do it easily in CSS, but what I want to show is how to use filters. So to use a filter, use a pipe sign and then the name of your filter. So I can say the name of is two capital letters, and now we have to create this filter. So let's say, and we are going to have another property called filters. Inside that filter we need to have a function, so the function name will be same as the name of our filter. So above here we say that our function name, our filter name should be 2cap. So here is our function 2cap, and this is return, this will receive a value. The value will be this value here. Where we use the filter, the value will be that, and whatever we return in the filter, the value, this will become that. So we're saying return value the 2 uppercase. So we're converting this to uppercase. I don't know what did I type here. It should be filter. Filters. It should be filters, like so. And now it's, as you can see, it is in capital letters, like so. If we say 21, so just like this you can create your own filter. So you can create a filter that would append a $sign or prepend a $sign in front of any number to make it a currency, like so. Whatever you want, you can create as many filters as you want. Also you can have multiple filters. So you can, if we had another filter, so we are going to say, if we had another filter, we could create, say, add dot. So we can create a filter called add dot that will basically add a dot at the end of it. So let's create that filter. So we can say add dot. This will receive the value, and then we can simply say return value plus a dot. So if we now save this, as you can see, we now have a dot. So both of our filter is working. So that is how you can use multiple filters in Vue JS. So in the next video, we are going to look at conditional rendering, loops and more. So be sure to subscribe for that, and I will see you next time.